Good morning, guys. How y'all doing? This is the Club of the Man 1993. I am here live for my live review of last night's edition of AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about the show from the April 1st, 2020 edition. It took place from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm sorry I didn't get to this review last night, guys. That's my fault. I did watch Dynamite last night, but, I just got distracted with, other things I was doing. And unfortunately, by the time I actually finished what I was trying to do, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm not doing this Dynamite review. So I am kind of on very limited time because I have a lot I want to get done today. I want to watch NXT still and do the live reactions during the triple threat match with Keith Lee, Don Dijakovic, and Damian Priest, and all that stuff. So we're probably going to be here, for a reasonable time, but I'm not going to be here, for too long for Dynamite. But last night's show, I thought, was a really good show. Again, Dynamite continues to be very impressive, even though it's in an empty arena. But once again, we do have, other wrestlers at ringside, watching things, kind of giving it that little energy, making it feel like an actual show that's actually moving forward with some things. Raw's been better, though. I'll give that credit. SmackDown, though, yeah. But we'll see how it is tomorrow night for sure for SmackDown. But overall, pretty good show again from Dynamite. We also had an announcement. Before I get started with the stream, let me just talk about this really quick. We are going to be having another championship added to AEW, the TNT Championship. I think it's kind of like what ROH and our promotion do with like a TV champion and whatnot. So that works for me. I mean, it's kind of like, a secondary title. I'm not sure it's going to be defended at pay-per-views at all, or if there's going to be at least a match involving that champion. Who at pay-per-view, who knows? But let me reveal the 8-man bracket for that. So we have we're gonna have Cody Rhodes taking on Shawn Spears, a rematch from AEW All Out. We're also gonna have a rematch from Revolution, Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara. We're also gonna have Dustin Rhodes taking on Kip Sabian, and Lance Archer taking on Colt Cabana. So, if I'm making my predictions, even though, we were having a couple only thing I kind of scratched my head about this is that we're having some rematches. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good matches, like from, their previous pay-per-views. But to me, it's like, I don't see them going the opposite way. I really think Lance Archer is going to be the one coming through this time with the win. I think. That's what I'm thinking. They're probably going to set this to come down to Cody Rhodes and Lance Archer, I gotta say. So, I mean, I'd like to see, Shawn Spears get a good rub from this. Again, Sammy Guevara, I feel like he could use another big win or so because he's been having great matches, but I feel like he's not been really putting up too many wins. So those are the little nitpicks I say about this bracket, but we'll see. I mean, it still could be a pretty good tournament, even though I feel like it's a little bit predictable. But I just hope it at least gives, the losers, a good rub for sure, since I probably see it coming down to Cody Rhodes and Lance Archer. But still, fine by me. We'll just, play it by ear and see what we got. So, that's all I gotta say for the tournaments. Gotta get them in there. The show opened up. Cody Rhodes was actually at ringside during most of the show until his main event match he was in. Kind of like a preview for the TNT Championship tournament in our main event. The first match we got was Kenny Omega versus Trent from Best Friends. Pretty good match. It was a good, hard-hitting match, I gotta say. I thought Trent had like a good, singles performance in this match. I mean, only other single performance I remember him having was against Moxley, but it was kind of more of like a squash a couple months ago whenever Moxley was really, again on the verge of being the number one contender for the AEW World Title. We had an elevated German suplex. We had a powerbomb into a support beam. We also had a sliding German suplex as well in there. So very close, falls. An avalanche German suplex. Busaku knee that Omega kicked out of. And then we had Omega eventually get the win with the one-winged angle for Omega to win. Afterwards, he did show a sign of respect to Trent. We also get a recap of Matt Hardy's AEW career so far, his debut, and what he did last week. The promo we had with Chris Jericho, which was quite epic, I gotta say. We did have a segment with Chris Jericho later on that I also really enjoyed, but we'll get to that shortly. The second match we had was Hikaru Shida taking on Anna Jay with a bunch of two Ys. Not too bad of a match. Probably the weakest match of the night, but still, a way to put Hikaru Shida over as she's being considered now the number one contender in the ranking system. As again, she's probably going to be the one to challenge Nyla Rose, probably at Blood and Guts whenever that happens. But the match was good to put her over. I'm having we're probably going to see her and Dr. Britt Baker clash at some point also soon as well to put her over. Because Baker was at ringside, just heckling and doing her usual thing, getting a lot of heat. Of course, she does good. After the match, though, Hikaru Shida stares down Breaker and kicks the barricade down in front of her. They jaw at each other, and Shida leaves to reclaim her entrance gear from Chuck Taylor. So again, I think we're probably going to have a match between those two before Hikaru Shida collides at Nyla Rose at some point, which I'm fine with. This should be good. We also have Cody Rhodes talking to Tony Schiavone about Jon Moxley's issues with the Inner Circle, and they recap. We have a recap of the build for an upcoming title match we're going to be getting between Jon Moxley and Jake Hager. Of course, it would be Dean Ambrose and Jack Swagger, but so the hype up just featured a new footage of both men talking about how they're going to win, as well as Jericho's explanation about he's waiting to cash his rematch clause and that the Inner Circle is unified. So if Hager wins the title, all the better. The end of the package tells us that the match will be happening in 2 weeks, and it is an empty arena, no holds barred match, which sounds good to me. Again, I still don't know if I'm super hyped though about Jake Hager getting a world title shot. Right? I mean, yes, he's 5-0, he's dominating, but to me, it's kind of like he's getting like that Ryback push. I mean, even though I'd rather see him get this title opportunity already, on just like a regular show, Dynamite, not on a pay-per-view. But again, I keep saying I think I'm still washing out that that Jack Swagger taste in my mouth for this, because I'll give him credit, he's done good, but I still look at him and I just still see Jack Swagger as a guy who didn't really get much opportunities, but he's 5-0, he's dominated his matches, but I still don't think he's like that amazing right now. But not a bad opponent, I'd say, for Moxley for his first title defense on just a regular episode of Dynamite. Who knows? But so we're gonna get that match in 2 weeks in an empty arena, no holds barred match, which I think could be good for sure, especially with Moxley having the match. We then have Cody Rhodes going to get ready for his match. So Colt Cabana replaced Cody on commentary, as he's going to be taking. Well, first, before we get there, before we get to the match, we have Jake the Snake Roberts getting a promo from a dark room, talking about how Lance Archer is going to destroy whoever you've got lined up against him. He's smiling because they're playing a silly little game, but they don't play games and gamble. And gambling is for fools. Probably referring to Sean Spears doing his gambling stuff. Archer is the ace in the deck, and he's about to come through and tear somebody in half. He tells Cody to stop and that he may be smart enough to be afraid, or maybe his better half is telling him where not to go. And he's pretty sure that Brandy Rhodes wears the pants in this relationship. Firing the shots. Again, that problem there is telling me, yeah, I really think, because at some point we're going to be in Lance Archer and Cody Rhodes, and I really think this TNT Championship match is going to come down between Archer and Rhodes, which is fine by me. Again, I just wish all these rematches weren't happening in it. But Lance Archer made his in-ring debut against Marco Stunt. Rest in peace, Marco Stunt, because Lance Archer just dominated him in this match. Just made it look easy. What did we get here? We already had him just launched him into the corner when the bell rang, chopped him down. Marco, though, tried to get some offense in there, and then Lance is just like, is this your best? This your best? He basically just took the shots, it barely did anything to him. But then and he was going to tell Marco to quit, but Marco kept getting up, trying to do things. He hit him with a ridiculous one-arm powerbomb. Stunt, though, runs to the floor and sidesteps to a charge. Suicide dive connects, but Archer gets back in the ring. Stunt gets an enziguri, corner drop kicks, crisscross, but Lance Archer pounced him out of the ring, kind of like Keith Lee would pounce, Adam Cole into the crowd, which I thought was awesome, and to the floor. And then Archer then slides him back in, picks him up, hits a choke slam, pulls him out of the cover at 2, and then half elevated inverted crucifix, which he calls the blackout. That's how he gets the win. But afterwards, though, he takes Stunt, throws him to the apron, and then picks him up. Everybody at ringside tells him to stop, but then he choke slams him off the apron into the crowd. Tony Schiavone and Colt Cabana were shocked by it, and that's his first round match opponent next week. And yeah, man, poor Marco Stunt. But Lance Archer is obviously in here to dominate. He means business. So yeah, dominating in-ring debut in AEW for Archer. So well, then wait and see what happens next. But let me tell you something. I would not want to be Marco Stunt get taken out like he did. But okay, we gotta talk about this next one. So last week when I did that thing where I keep saying, oh yeah, Brody Lee's taking the shots at Vince McMahon. Well, Brody Lee's doing more than taking the shots at Vince McMahon. He's completely basing his character as the Exalted One off Vince McMahon. And I'm loving it. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, check out the Talk is Jericho podcast with Brody Lee. He had a lot of good stories to tell for sure about his departure from WWE. But the Exalted One is walking us through with the Dark Order. How he was once downtrodden and beaten down, but now he's here before us and he wants one goon to stand up next to him. That goon Bumble's calling him Mr. Lee when he's like, I want to be called Mr. Brody. And Lee throws a glass against the wall. Another masked goon yawns, and then Brody gets on him for yawning and showing weakness before warning him never to do it again, telling him to leave. That's all Vince. That's all Vince. We then have two goons from the Dark Order, number 8 and 9, taking on Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, who are calling themselves the Natural Nightmares. I guess it gives, Dustin something else to do when he's not competing in singles action, so I'm like, fine by me. The match wasn't bad. The Natural Nightmare do win by a pinfall with a Dominator / sliding Ace Crusher combination, which I thought was a nice looking finish. But afterwards, Brody Lee comes out. He stares down Dustin Rhodes, but then he heads into the ring and destroys one of his goons with a release powerbomb, staring a hole in the other guy to make his point. But then Brody takes his leave and we go to break. Basically, he's running this group now, and if they don't do what he's doing, he's going to come out there and just destroy them, basically. So, yeah, the Dark Order still may not be the most flashiest thing in the world, but again, Brody Lee a part of it, just doing what he's doing, I'm loving it. I'm loving every bit of it because John Huber, or formerly Luke Harper, is finally getting something credible to do, I gotta say, and again, I really like it. I love what he's doing as the Exalted One, for sure. Especially basically basing his character off of Vince, which is just hilarious. Oh, yeah, so we got this segment. We have Jericho in a hot tub telling us today is a holiday, April Fool's Day, which is held in honor of the Elite. He runs down each man in turn, and we get footage from Vanguard 1, then hovering over intercut with it. Jericho again starts arguing with the drone and reiterates his offer to let him join the inner circle. And he even has a Vanguard-sized t-shirt he hangs on the drone, which is just hilarious. But Vanguard 1 takes it and flies away, refusing the offer. And then Lita Jericho, he's flipping out about it, and he's just like, release the house! And then there's several dogs just running out from behind and chasing Vanguard. It was hilarious. Again, if this was Vince, he would so make this not funny. But especially with Jericho arguing with a drone, it's perfect. Again, I'm loving it. Will Vanguard ever join the Inner Circle? I don't think so, but great, funny segment for sure. We also get an update on Nick Jackson. Him and Matt go to a ring set out at some tennis court, and we have footage of them training, talking about Nick's injury, and how they can't take life for granted, and how you have to live your life the fullest. They don't think he's ready to return to active competition, however, yet, which probably is the case for them to get past the blood and guts match without him. Then we had our main event, Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin taking on Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears. This is just kind of a preview because these four are going to face off with each other next week, or in the first round of the TNT Championship Tournament, again with Cody Rhodes taking on Shawn Spears, rematch from AEW All Out. and Darby Allin taking on Sammy Guevara from AEW Revolution. Pretty good match, I gotta say. Of course, Sammy Guevara was trying to get Brandy Rhodes to kiss him, but then it didn't work out. I thought we had some good near falls and whatnot. Pretty good match. Darby Allin then did a climbed up one of the poles, and did a coffin drop off the top of like a 10-foot pole, which is always nice. And then there was a couple times where Guevara and Spears gambling for things. We're just kind of doing bets and whatnot. But then eventually towards the end of the ring, towards the end of the match, though, Shawn Spears gets a sneaky victory with a schoolboy pin with a handful of tights onto Darby Allin. And Shawn Spears gets the win, which I like that they did that. I guess not to give the baby faces a win that we see, but give the people who need to win the more. Even though, I like that they gave it to Shawn Spears though, because again, I do like this persona that Spears has had, but I still think he hasn't been allowed to really shine his best so far, I gotta say. But it's coming, and I don't think he's gonna get past the first round against Cody, but I hope he gets like that rub he got at All Out. Again, I gotta say he lost, but he still looked good. But again, I kind of hope they do taking it to another level for him soon, because I definitely am really digging his gimmick. But afterwards, Darby Allin did punch Cody Rhodes, obviously again giving us a taste of what we're going to be getting in the future. With we're probably going to be getting a match at some point with Cody taking on Darby Allin before Cody goes on to face Lance Archer in the finals, is what I'm thinking. But that's gonna do it for Dynamite, guys. Again, a pretty good show. Give it a B+. I enjoyed, the matches for the most part. I like the stuff with the Dark Order. I like the video package for Moxley and Hager. I am interested in this tag team with Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall. For sure, I did find that interesting. Again, Brody Lee is just killing it. The main event again was good, and of course Lance Archer's debut was the highlight of the show. So I'll give it a B+ for the show. B+ for Dynamite. Guys, I'll be up here a little bit later on. The next stream will be my live reactions from the Triple Threat match last night. I didn't get to watch it, so no spoilers. Between Keith Lee, Dominic Dijakovic, and Damian Priest. That's going to be the next stream for sure. So guys, once again, what are your thoughts on Dynamite? Give it a B+. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video, subscribe or comment on my channel, follow me on Twitter at TheManAir93, and I'll see you guys all later on. We have my NXT live review, and then later on tonight, I will be doing my first special live stream since returning back to YouTube, which will be Demand's 2019 End of the Year Wrestling Awards. What will that entitle? Be sure to check it out later on tonight. Till then, guys, I'm the Club The Man 93. I'm checking out. I will see you guys all later. Peace out, everybody.